Hello once again, fellow YouTubers. It's Warren. I was checking in on the things I like about my 2026 Honda Passport Trailsport. You'll be happy to know that I can't seem to find anything that I find terribly wrong with it. And I know I've joined a couple of groups and I've seen some of the things that people are pointing out about their particular vehicle. And it's unfortunate that everybody's going through that. I myself had some small kinks in the beginning, and like I said, I kept a running list of it, and the service manager was more than happy to take care of it. So I know we can get on these particular groups and on these sites and we start reading reviews on the vehicle. The way I see that, too much negative publicity is going to infuriate you even more. So instead of buying into all the negative hype that you're reading about what everybody's finding that's wrong with their vehicle, it could be a paint blemish, or like in my case, the bumper was misaligned. I had it taken care of. No questions asked. It was absolutely free. Take care of these things now. Don't allow it to fester and bother you to the point to where, like in one particular group that I've been in, people are starting to repeat the exact same things over and over and over again. There's nothing nobody else in the group can do for you. You have to take the initiative to take care of your investment, whether it's a car or a microwave or a dishwasher. So I happen to know it's a pretty good vehicle. I'm satisfied with my purchase. And even though, the few little things that I found that was not to my liking, and I know they immediately took care of it, I have no issues. Now, if they're telling you that, you just bought a brand new vehicle and you got it home 2 days or 2 weeks later, and you're noticing these things and they're not trying to fix it, then that's when you need to reach out to Honda USA or anybody. You need to go over their heads. But maybe it has a lot to do with the dealership you got it from and the service manager. If you've been going to that dealership for a long time and you've dealt with their service department, and if you knew that service department wasn't any good in the beginning, quite frankly, you're going to have that same trouble. So I'm glad I chose the particular dealership I went to, even though I had possibly three that was fairly close to me, and I drove over an hour and 20 minutes and bypassed those to go to this particular place because they won me over from the first time. So I became a repeat customer, and I will go there again. So it was no issue when I found these little things and I addressed them, and I went up there and I made the appointment. First of all, you don't just show up. These people got stuff to do just like you do. And I've mentioned this more than one time. Get you a vehicle checklist. It doesn't have to say Honda on it. It doesn't. It really doesn't, because you're keeping it for your own track record. So as you're walking around that vehicle, you can start checking out for certain things, as it applies to the checklist. And that way you can have a copy to submit. Or when you go in and set your appointment online, you can submit a copy of it that way. They'll have it. They can start looking it over. You can call them, and if they need to order a particular part, they can already be on order the part before you get there for your appointment. So, y'all stop thinking that, first of all, they are there to provide a service in the service department. It says nothing about they have every single part for every single vehicle. So if they have to order them, they tell you it takes 2 days or a week. I mean, for me, they told me it'd be a week and a half. They had it in 2 days. Maybe I was one of the lucky ones. So far, so good. And I don't drive that vehicle a lot, but I drive it enough to know that everything seems to be working okay. And like I said, it's unfortunate that a lot of you are experiencing some of these issues with a brand new vehicle, but that could have been in the vehicle. You could have chose a Toyota Camry. Not all of them are going to ride off the lot 100%. So, I think what it is, a lot of people having what's the word? Buyer's remorse. They're really, they're really not feeling the vehicle once they got it home, and that happens. You can have a brand new pair of shoes. When you get them home, you look at them, they don't look the same. I knew what vehicle I was going to choose, when I chose it, and I waited, and I kept watching the research on it, and I kept watching the internet when they was talking about it, and I know they was promoting that vehicle heavily, but still I was doing my research on it, and I happen to know that that particular motor and transmission, to my knowledge, is pretty good. So was it a choice? No. I could have went and got, I don't know, let's just say a 4Runner, and got that 4-cylinder turbo or whatever they got in there. I've driven some vehicles like that, and yeah, you got that little quick instant juice, but that thing just top end, it just don't feel the same. It just doesn't to me. Been driving for several years, you can feel the difference. So I did want a V6. Hell, if they had to drop the V8 in it, I would have loved it even more. I have an 8-cylinder in my truck, and I absolutely love driving that vehicle, which is my daily driver. But you being in this crazy traffic, I do feel a little bit safer in it, in my truck, than my Passport. And I didn't buy it with the intent of it replacing my truck and becoming a daily driver, even though my commute time is short. I absolutely like that vehicle. I mean, I can't say anything wrong about it. I got the exact color I wanted. It had all the features in it that I was expecting. I wasn't trying to go overboard with the TS Black Edition and all this other stuff. And I like them, but that was a bit of a stretch for me. And the way I figure, you get all these things in these vehicles, that's just too much for me to worry about. If I could have gotten this vehicle, and I probably could have ordered it that way without the panoramic view, I would have got it without it. I'm not that hung up on a sunroof. And I've noticed that a lot of people are talking about the Sirius XM is not in that particular radio. I don't remember. I think Honda took it out of some of their vehicles a long time ago. But come on, y'all. You have the app on your phone. So unless you have your phone programmed wrong, as soon as I get in my vehicle, it automatically connects to my phone. No matter which vehicle I hop in, it automatically connects. So unless you have yours hooked up wrong, and the more they start talking about Sirius XM, I forgot I had it. I probably listened to it, we're on the 4th month. I probably haven't listened to Sirius XM since maybe December. And that's something I need to cancel because I don't even use it enough. By the time I get in my vehicle, I'm always on YouTube Music. I used to do the Amazon thing, their music. Pandora. I used to do Pandora, but to be honest with you, YouTube Music is a lot clearer to me. It's better. It just sounds better to me. So that's why I got rid of Pandora. Now, as far as getting on Amazon for music, no. I was able to get Prime Video and Tubi TV and some other little local stuff to play through my infotainment system in that Passport, but some wise guy, well, it won't play while you're driving. Well, that's a safety feature. That is not a defect. Come on, people, think about what you're saying. But do I plan on sitting in my vehicle and watching a movie? I highly doubt it, but who's to say I'm waiting on somebody for whatever reason, and they're taking 10 or 15 minutes. I can sit out there in my vehicle and watch me a great TV show or the news. Yes, I can watch it on my phone, and yes, they know that, but they like giving people the option. So I feel like maybe they had to take certain things out to have that function. Maybe they canned some of the things that a lot of people aren't using like you think they are. I don't think Sirius XM is being used that much like some people think. Especially when somebody like me, I knew I was paying maybe $199 a month for all of last year on that special. I totally forgot about it. All last year, I probably listened to it 6 times. I probably get rid of it. Like I say, I prefer YouTube Music. I pay that subscription. I pay that little bit extra money because once I put my headphones on, it is crystal clear. And not to mention, I watch a lot of YouTube anyway, so cuts out all the commercials and all this other stuff along with that. So it made sense to put it all in, all my chips in one bag. But as far as that vehicle, I've gone over it again. It's been This week will be 3 weeks since I had the bumper aligned and took it back up there, and they did an excellent job on it. I've gone over it again. I don't see anything that's of concern. A lot of people was talking about how the welding part came together under the hood, and I looked at that. In certain spots where they touched it up and it feels soft and spongy, that was more of a sealant than anything. Where the grooves came together, they sealed that. That's what that was. I don't think people really noticed that. One lady griping about something was stuck between her bumper, and I replied, and I'm going to stay out of this group, to be honest with you. I've heard all I need to hear about this group. But one lady was complaining about there was something stuck between her fender, and it looks like a shimmy. And I said, and I responded, that's protective wrap. And in all bold caps, and I was mad. Well, why would I need protective wrap? Because the vehicle was being delivered, and unless you was just under a rock, don't tell me you never seen a vehicle going out a highway on a truck, and some of those new vehicles have that white protective wrap on it. People aren't thinking, they're just looking for a reason to be mad about things. I think a lot of people just have to have something to gripe about. And if I was griping about my vehicle, I'd be griping about all the griping everybody's griping about these vehicles. A lot of these things that you can fix yourself. All you gotta do is pick up the phone or get on your email, contact the service advisor, and let them take care of it. And if they tell you it's gonna be a couple of days, all you gotta do is insist on a loaner vehicle, unless you just don't need one. You know, they took care of me. They took care of that bumper thing, and surprisingly enough, on a Saturday, and I stayed in the area because, like I said, it was an hour, 20 minutes up there. I didn't want to make 2 trips that day. They still gave me a loaner vehicle. I hung out in the area up there, did some light shopping, treated myself to lunch. They were calling me. I was back in my car. 4 hours went by real quick. A lot faster than had I sat in that dealership looking around. So, as far as that 2026 Honda Passport Trailspor, I can't say anything bad about it. I posted last week, or I think I may have deleted that video, but I was pushing 7 weeks and 1,240 miles, and so far it's been a breeze. And I'm thinking it's pretty good on gas, because most of the time I've been in it, I just been tooling around the city, going here or there. Maybe driven to work a couple of times, but I'm not going to make that a daily driver. Unless, of course, I have to put my truck in the shop or something happens to it, then I will rely on that one more often. But it's overall, that 2026 Honda Passport Trailspor is a great riding vehicle. I don't work for Honda. YouTube is not giving me any money to say this. I'm just talking about my own personal opinions on it. You know, just like I posted about my truck. I was being totally honest about that. And that's what I had my other channel. And I got rid of that one, but I had some pretty good postings about my truck on there. I think I posted twice on here about my truck. And I may do some more posts on it because I've had it a while now. And the mileage is still pretty low on it. And everything is running and sounding really nice. I guess because I don't do a lot of driving and I'm not a terrible driver. I believe in being patient and I take care of my things. Maybe that has a lot to do with it too. And I stay on top of my service appointments and all those things. That does not mean you're not gonna have car trouble at any particular time. No, but all you can do is get it fixed. You know, they have certain limit laws to protect you against a whole lot of things. So all these little blemishes that they did and they rushed to get these vehicles out. I'm just lucky that I didn't get some of the things that I've seen. And had I did, I would have still taken care of it and followed the necessary steps to get it taken care of, like I did the few things I did find. So it's all a matter of how you look at it, how you want to approach the situation. And I know a lot of people, I was back in that group reading those some of the comments, and a few of the guys was telling the lady, you might as well not even worry about it. It's not worth the time and trouble to try to get it fixed. Now, I think that was some dumb advice. If that lady paid good money and she wanted the vehicle to be as close to perfect as possible, she should go get those situations taken care of. And that's why I said the more you stay in these groups and the more you get the griping, you're going to get the negativity from the people telling you not to go get your own vehicle fixed. You know, go get it fixed. Print out your checklist, make notations of it, take pictures of it. They're going to take pictures at the shop anyway, but there's nothing wrong with you taking pictures of it and making sure it's done. And oh, by the way, when you pull up to that service bay, get out and take pictures of your car before you hand it over to them. Because if you get it back, there's some damages, you got proof that that damage was not there. You know, accidents happen. So with that being said, I'm going to end this video. I'm going to keep it short tonight. Just want to get on here and, let you all know this particular vehicle, this 2026 Honda Passport Trailspor in the ash green. Everything is going fine. I'm absolutely enjoying this vehicle. And if you're interested in test driving for yourself, all I can do is say is go try it. Yeah, there are a lot of vehicles out there on the market these days. Some better, some worse. But, you have to choose what works for you. And with that being said, everybody have a great evening or a great Friday morning or whenever you get this video. Take care.